The livelihood diversity of rural community without legal access to forest resources. The case of Kerinci Seblat National Park in Bengkulu Province by Septri Widiono, Ekawati Sri Wahyuni, Lala Kolopaking, Arif Satria. The Kerinci Seblat National Park, KSNP, in Bengkulu, Indonesia, was gazetted by the Indonesian government, and overlaps with most indigenous communities. Forests have made their farming activities illegal. People were prohibited from gaining access to and enlarging their farming area in the national park area, so their livelihoods were threatened. The Livelihood Diversity Index, LDI, and Livelihood Asset Index, LAI, were used to explore the livelihood systems of these communities. This study also examines the effect of livelihood assets on livelihood diversity and analyzes livelihood strategy choices using the structuration theory proposed by Giddens. We designed this quantitative survey combined with in-depth interviews in 2 villages with different land types, including wetlands, rice fields, and drylands, farmland. The study was conducted in Lebong Regency, whose 98,404.1 hectares was the KSNP area. Lebong, a regency in the province of Bengkulu where 25.08% of the KSNP area is in this province, has an area of 192,182 hectares. The Lebong Regency is mostly state forest, 118,887 hectares or 61.86%, divided into 51.2% national parks, KSNP, 9.14% protected forests, 1.42% nature parks, 0.08% nature reserves, and 0.02% production forests. Thus, only 38.14% is another area that can be used as a production area for 107,248 population in 2022. 8 livelihood strategies were identified in Mbonai village and 5 in Sukanejari village, as shown in the table. For the Livelihood Asset Index, Mbonai scored higher on physical capital but lower on natural capital, social capital, financial capital, and human capital than Sukanejari. For the Livelihood Asset Index in Mbonai, households who combine annual and perennial crops as a livelihood strategy look better at natural capital but bad on financial and social capital. Those who relied on non-farms looked better at all capital except natural capital. On the other hand, those who relied on annual crops and government transfers were bad at all capital. For the Livelihood Asset Index in Sukanejari, households that combine annual and perennial crops look better at natural and social capital. Those who combined perennial farms and non-farms looked better at financial capital. Like in Mbonai, those who relied on annual and government transfers were bad at all capital. The livelihood asset indicators affecting Livelihood Diversity Index for Mbonai are non-farms income and reciprocal relationships. For Sukanejari are distance to cultivated area, total income, and non-farms income. Livelihood diversity is a strategy choice through structuration process. Farmers operate in the context of a social structure that includes norms, values, beliefs, and rules passed down from previous generations. Restrictions from the state regarding the determination of forest areas over their traditional forests made it impossible to legally use forests as a livelihood base. What is happening with the phenomenon of livelihood diversity is the reaction of farmers to the restrictive structure. Livelihood diversity indicates that farmers could transform material and structural barriers, such as limited access to land, into opportunities to maintain their livelihoods by mobilizing allocative and authoritative resources.
Thank you.